Lean forward and hear me. Excellence is not a gift you unwrap. It is a law you enforce. Write that down. Say it out loud with me. Excellence is a law I will enforce daily. What did I say? Not a gift, not a talent, not a personality type. Law. Tweet this right now. Motivation is a mood, standards are laws. Hashtag Myles Munroe. You feel motivated today and moody tomorrow. Laws don't care about your mood. Gravity doesn't ask if you're tired. Seed time and harvest don't negotiate with your feelings. In other words, your life becomes predictable the moment you submit to predictable laws. Success is not a pursuit. Success is a result of obedience to laws. Please write that down and don't argue with me, argue with the Bible. Joshua 1-8 says, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night. Then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. Did you read that? Law, day and night, then predictable prosperity. Reverse the verse and it still works. Neglect the law, skip day and night, and you will predict failure. You don't break laws, laws break you. Someone shout amen. Let me upset a few traditions now. Many of you are waiting for the right moment, the right mentor, the right money, the right mood. That's a fantasy. Excellence isn't inherited. It's legislated by habits. Say that back to me. Legislated by what? Habits. Excellence has nothing to do with your last name. It has everything to do with the laws you enforce on your next hour. When the Bible says in Proverbs 22:29, do you see a man diligent in his work? He shall stand before kings. It does not say, do you see a talented man? Diligence is a law word. Diligence is enforced behavior, not occasional excitement. Oh dear, I guess I'm talking to myself. Are you hearing me? Let me give you a picture. Gravity is a law. Jump off a building with a Bible in your hand, speaking in tongues, and gravity will not suspend your consequences for your devotion. Why? Because God hides his judgment in his laws. Excellence is exactly like that. If you obey its standards daily, influence is the built-in consequence. If you neglect it, obscurity is the built-in judgment. No demons, no witches, just negligence. In other words, success and failure are not mysteries. They are verdicts from laws you kept or ignored. I once counseled two young professionals. Let's call them Marcus and Ruth. Marcus had charisma dripping off him like cologne. Ruth was quiet, almost invisible. Marcus waited for big doors. Ruth enforced small standards. Marcus said, when the opportunity comes, I'll rise to the occasion. Ruth said, I will rise to the standard daily. 2 years later, the company restructured. Guess who was promoted? The quiet law keeper. The board said, Ruth is predictable. Write this down. Leaders don't promote moods, they promote predictability. Tweet that, please. Predictability is the proof you are under law. Daniel 6:3 declares, then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. The Hebrew idea there is not tingles and goosebumps. It's a fixed disposition toward a standard. Daniel enforced prayer at set times, wisdom in counsel, integrity in service. He didn't become excellent when he met a lion. He met a lion already excellent. Lions don't change the law changes lions. What did I say? Say it back to me. You meet pressure already lawful or already lawless. Now, hear the pastoral punch. Some of the laziest people I know are prayer warriors with no protocols. They pray for what law denies. Prayer does not replace practice. Prayer prepares you to practice. God told Joshua to meditate day and night, not day and maybe. That's a schedule. That's enforcement. So tonight, we are not here to warm our emotions. We are here to legislate our days. We are here to replace motivation with enforcement so that life becomes predictable. Are you willing? Say, I am under law. Let me define it so you never forget. Excellence is fidelity to a standard assigned by your purpose, enforced daily, regardless of applause. Say it slowly. Excellence is fidelity to a standard, not to other people's highlights, not to yesterday's record, your standard aligned with why you exist. That means excellence is not comparative. It is covenantal. When you live by covenantal standards, you become unconfusable and unshakable. In other words, no event can demote you because no event promoted you. The Lord did. Write this down. Standards create schedules, and schedules create success. Laws live in calendars. If your calendar is empty, your future is random. God himself works by times and seasons. He sanctified a day. He scheduled feasts. He fixed times. You were created in the image of a God who loves order. So chaos is not a demon. Often it's a diary problem. Tweet that to your cousin who keeps snoozing alarms. Hashtag wake up to law. Let me press you a bit. The shortcut is the longest way to success. Shortcuts skip laws. You can steal a title, but you can't counterfeit mastery. The law will expose you under pressure. When athletes show up on game day, reward is not a surprise. It's an invoice paid by repetitions. That's law language. But hear me, we are not going to admire athletes tonight. We are going to legislate our own drills. Say it with me. I will not admire what I refuse to enforce. And for those thinking, but I wasn't born into opportunity, listen to scripture. Joseph had no lineage in Egypt, yet law elevated him. Diligence, integrity, management, laws. Proverbs says, the hand of the diligent shall rule, not the hand of the connected, the trendy, the loud, the diligent. If you keep the law of excellence, kings will send for you. If you neglect it, you will send for kings, and they will send you the voicemail. That's not cruelty, that's consequence. So here is the thesis of this entire journey. Write it in capital letters. Excellence is a law I choose to enforce daily, not a talent I hope to discover someday. What did I say? Say it back to me until your spine hears it. Tonight, make a decision. No more mood-driven living. We will move from goosebumps to governance, from inspiration to legislation, from wishing to working the law. Because when you obey divine and natural laws, life stops being a casino and starts being a courtroom. Verdicts become righteous and results become reliable. Lift your right hand and declare, by God's grace and by God's laws, I enforce my standards daily. My excellence is non-negotiable. My results are predictable. Now give God thanks, not for magic, but for the mercy of laws. Now that you've made a decision to legislate your days, let me take you into the courtroom where excellence is tried and judged. The difference between laws and rules. Please write this down. A law is built into creation with judgment embedded. A rule is built by men for convenience with comfort embedded. In other words, laws are universal and unchanging. Rules are local and negotiable. You don't break laws, laws break you. But you can and must break rules when they interfere with law. What did I say? Say it out loud. Break the rule, keep the law. Let me give you a picture your grandmother understands. Gravity is a law. If you jump off a building holding a hymnal, quoting Psalm 23 inches Hebrew, gravity will not suspend its judgment. Why? Because judgment is hidden in law. You didn't jump and then God called a meeting to decide your consequence. The consequence was pre-installed. Write that down. Consequences are pre-installed in laws. Now here the pastoral shocker. Many of you are still negotiating with gravity in different areas of your life. You call it favor, but you're asking God to bless what violates his laws of diligence, order, and stewardship. That's why your prayer meetings are full and your calendars are empty. Oh dear, am I still in church? Jesus himself settled this in the fiercest courtroom, tradition versus truth. In Matthew 15, he asked the religious leaders, why do you transgress the commandment of God because of your tradition? Tradition, there is a rule man made. Commandment is a law God embedded. He didn't say, please adjust your preference. He indicted their rule because it violated law. And in Matthew 5:17, 1:9, he doubles down. Do not think that I came to abolish the law. Whoever practices and teaches these commandments will be called great. Did you hear that? Practice makes greatness predictable. Not prayer alone, not personality, not pedigree practice of law. Tweet this. Greatness is the legal outcome of practice law. Hashtag court of excellence. Write this next line and don't erase it for the rest of your life. Laws make life predictable. Rules make life comfortable. Rules are often designed to keep the group at ease, not to move the individual to excellence. That is why successful people, get ready for this, successfully break rules for the sake of keeping laws. Successful people always break the rules for the sake of the law. Joseph broke the unspoken rule that a slave keeps his head down. He kept the law of stewardship and rose. David broke the rule that soldiers wear armor. He kept the law of using what he had mastered and defeated Goliath. Jesus broke the Sabbath rule of dead tradition. He kept the law of mercy and healed a man's hand. Are you seeing it? Let's bring it to your office. There is a rule floating through the cubicles. Don't outshine the manager. That's a rule of insecurity. The law, however, says, whatever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord, Colossians 3:23. When you keep that law, your work becomes a witness, and kings, clients, executives, nations will send for you. Another rule says, wait until the last minute, because that's how we've always done it. We send deliverables at 4:55 p.m. That's the rule of procrastination designed to protect collective mediocrity. The law says, diligent hands make rich, and the prepared are preferred. Which courtroom will you honor? Let's enter your culture for a moment. Some cultures have a rule called fashionable lateness. Arrive 30 minutes late so you look important. That's a rule that keeps people unemployed. The law says, to everything there is a season, and seasons honor those who arrive on time. Some families have a rule. In this house, we don't dream too big. We don't leave our town. We don't read those kinds of books. We don't rock the boat. That's a rule born of fear. The law says, the righteous are bold as a lion and enlarge the place of your tent. Which will you obey? Write this down. Office politics, cultural shortcuts, and family traditions often protect mediocrity, break the rule, keep the law of excellence. Romans 8:2 talks about two laws, not two moods. The law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has set me free from the law of sin and death. Freedom didn't arrive by vibes. It arrived by a superior law superseding an inferior one. Likewise, the law of excellence must override the rule of convenience. If your company's unwritten rule is we pad timesheets, but the law of integrity says weights and measures must be honest, then law must be your governor. If your industry's rule is everyone gossips, it's how we network, and the law says a talebearer separates close winds, then more must be your muzzle. Don't pray for influence while obeying rules that contradict the very laws that produce influence. Let me pastor you for a second. Some of you are being disciplined by rules and casual about laws. You dress by the rule of the dress code, but you don't study by the law of mastery. You tithe by the rule of habit, but you mismanage by breaking the law of stewardship. You show up to worship on time by the rule of respect, but you are late to your assignment because you broke the law of planning. The longest way to success is the shortcut of rules. Shortcuts skip laws. Write this. If a rule makes you comfortable while it keeps you average, it is illegal in the court of excellence. So how do you live this tomorrow morning? Treat every environment like a courtroom where laws preside over rules. Ask, what is the immutable law here? In my body, rest. Nutrition, movement. In my craft, practice, feedback, iteration. In my relationships, honor, truth, service. In my finances, value creation, saving, investing. Then identify the rules that contradict those laws and break them respectfully. Respectfully means without arrogance, but with unwavering compliance to law. If the team frowns when you prepare early, prepare anyway. If the cousin mocks when you arrive 10 minutes before, arrive anyway. If the group complains when you document your process, document anyway. If that's how you move from admired to assigned, from noticed to needed. Lift your voice and say, I submit to divine and natural laws, and I will break any man-made rule that blocks the law of excellence. Again, louder so your excuses hear you. Now, take your pen and write this last verdict. I will no longer let rules make me comfortable when laws can make me great, because in the court of excellence, comfort has no jurisdiction, only law. Now that we've established jurisdiction, law over rules, let's define the very thing we are enforcing. Please write this down, and don't let your pen be lazy. Excellence is consistent compliance with the highest standard required by your purpose. Say that out loud. What is excellence? Consistent compliance with the highest standard required by my purpose. Again, louder so your adults can hear you. Excellence is not an event. It is a legal lifestyle of compliance. Not occasional zeal, not seasonal hype, consistent compliance. Let me separate you from the herd right now. Excellence is not comparison with others. It is alignment with your assignment. 2 Corinthians 10 12 warns us they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. In other words, comparison is illegal in the court of excellence. Tweet that to somebody. Comparison is illegal. Alignment is lawful. You do not become excellent by beating your neighbor. You become excellent by meeting your measure. Success is what you've done compared to what you should have done. Write that down in big letters. If God assigned you 5 talents and you return 5 more, you are excellent. If he assigned you 2 and you return 2 more, you are equally excellent. Matthew 25-21 records the same commendation for different numbers. Well done, good and faithful servant. Not well said, not well intended, well done. Faithfulness to the assigned standard, not fame in the crowd scoreboard. Now, hear the wisdom. Standard precedes feeling. Feelings follow enforcement, not the other way around. Write that. The runner doesn't wait to feel like training. The standard commands the body, and the body adjusts its feelings after obedience. The musician doesn't wait for inspiration. Scales are law. Inspiration is a witness. Your moods are employees. Standards are the employer. Fire any feeling that refuses to work for the law. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord. The heart follows the hand when the hand obeys the standard. Reverse the verse and you get chaos. Do it only when you feel like it and you'll never meet your standard. Let me clarify scope so you stop drowning on trees. Excellence is specific to your lane. The fish excels in water, not on a tree. The eagle excels in the sky, not in the sea. A seed excels in soil, not on a marble countertop. Romans 12:6 says, having gifts that differ according to the grace given to us, let us use them. Did you hear the word differ? Different grace, different gift, different standard. Your excellence is illegal when you copy someone else's lane. Tweet this. My lane determines my law. If your purpose is surgery, your highest standard is not the same as a saxophonist and vice versa. A surgeon's excellence is sterile discipline, precise protocols, and steady hands at 3 a.m. A saxophonist's excellence is breath control, tone fidelity, and phrasing accuracy under lights. Both are excellent when they consistently comply with the highest standard required by their purpose, not when they mimic each other. Paul gives us the language of law in sport. I press toward the mark for the prize. Philippians 3:14. Mark is standard, prize is result, press is enforcement. He didn't say, I drift toward the vibe. He said, I press. That's a legal motion in the courtroom of your calendar. Write this. If there is no mark, there is no measurement. If there is no measurement, there is no excellence. Set the mark, then press. Let's land this with pictures you can feel. Imagine 2 people in the same office. One out-talks everyone in meetings but submits to no standard. Slides are late. Details are sloppy. Follow-up is random. The other speaks less but lives by a checklist, requirements, deadlines, quality gates, peer review. Who is excellent? The lawkeeper. Why? Because excellence is consistent compliance with the highest standard required by the assignment. Leaders promote predictability, not noise. You already wrote that earlier. Predictability is proof that law is working. Let me pastor some of you creative souls. Yes, I love artists, but excellence for the artist is not I feel it today. Excellence is I rehearsed 8 bars 20 times. I tuned my instrument to A = 440. I delivered on cue. Inspiration is a visitor. Discipline is a resident. And to my engineers and accountants, excellence is not I hit submit. It is I validated the model, audited the formula, documented assumptions, and delivered early. Different lanes, one law. Consistent compliance with the highest standard required by your purpose. So let's rehearse in court. What is excellence? Consistent compliance with the highest standard required by my purpose again and again until it gets into your bones. Because until you own this definition, you will keep mislabeling adrenaline as excellence. Write this next line and tape it on your mirror. Excellence is not an emotion, it's a protocol. Spiritually, God has already modeled this. Creation itself runs on protocols, times, and seasons, sowing and reaping. If the heavens declare the glory of God by exact cycles, why would your life display his glory by random fits? Luke 16:10 makes excellence unavoidable. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Faithful there means trustworthy, dependable, lawful. Excellence begins where applause ends, in the least. When you comply consistently in the little, you qualify legally for the much. That's not favoritism, that's law. I'll say it one more time so your future can hear you clearly. What is excellence? Consistent compliance with the highest standard required by my purpose. From tonight, you are released from comparison and drafted into assignment. Your feelings will learn to follow your enforcement. Your lane will set your law. And when you keep that law daily, the verdict of your life will be, well done. Now that the definition has entered your bones, let's anchor it in the constitution of the kingdom, the scriptures. Write this down. The Bible is not a book of superstition. It is a book of statutes. It does not romanticize talent. It mandates practice excellence. Talent gets applause. Law gets authority. Daniel 6:3 says, then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. Preferred, not pitied. Why? An excellent spirit. Not a moody spirit, not a lucky break, an excellent spirit. Excellence, there is a fixed disposition toward a standard. He prayed at appointed times. He advised with precision. He managed with integrity. Promotion was not an altar call. It was a verdict. Read this. Promotion is the legal consequence of an excellent spirit. What did I say? Say it back to me. Some of you have been asking God for lions to go away. Daniel didn't negotiate with lions. He legislated his life before he met them. The lion's den did not create his excellence. It revealed it. The text does not say because a talented spirit was in him or because he had connections in Babylon. It says excellent. Excellence is a law word, consistent compliance. Reverse the verse in principle and you get this. A careless spirit produces demotion. You don't break the law of excellence. Neglect breaks you. Write it down. Now, Proverbs 22:29. This is one of the clearest legal clauses in all of wisdom literature. Do you see a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Diligent, not gifted. Diligent means rigorous, steady, prompt to do. That's enforcement language. And look at the audience. Kings. Excellence upgrades your audience without you begging for introductions. You don't need to chase kings. Keep the law and kings will schedule you. Reverse the verse. Are you ready? Do you see a man undisciplined in his work? He will not stand before kings. He will remain before common men. Success is predictable. Failure is predictable. Laws make life predictable. Please write this down and tweet it to your future. Diligence is the cause. Kings are the consequence. Colossians 3:23 now takes the standard vertical. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. Circle whatsoever. That means spreadsheet, sermon, sandwich, song, whatsoever, do it heartily as to the Lord. In other words, your supervisor is not your standard. God is your client of one. Excellence is worship on Monday. Some of you sing loud on Sunday and submit sloppy on Tuesday. That's illegal. If your work is unto the Lord, then your standard is not the departmental average. It is divine honor. Write this down. When God is the audience, excellence is the minimum. Reverse the verse. If you do it as unto men, your standard will drop to match their moods. But when you do it as unto the Lord, your standard rises to match his name. Jesus himself settles the jurisdiction in Matthew 5:17-19. Do not think that I came to abolish the law or the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill. Whoever practices and teaches these commandments will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Listen to the courtroom verbs. Practice and teach, not talk and tweet. Practice and teach. Greatness is not a surprise. It is a sentence served upon the enforcers. Reverse the verse and feel the sober weight. Whoever breaks and teaches others to do so will be called least. Greatness and leastness are predictable outcomes based on enforcement or neglect. Write this down. This is your mirror statement for the week. Scripture celebrates enforcement. Practice and teach, not wish and wait. Let me pastor you gently but firmly. Some of you are praying for promotion while protecting poor patterns. Prayer is powerful. I am a man of prayer, but prayer is not a substitute for practice. It is the power to keep practicing. Joshua was told to meditate day and night. That's a schedule. Daniel set his window schedule. Proverbs prescribes diligent schedule. Colossians commands whatsoever scope. Jesus mandates practice and teach method. Do you see the pattern? Law, not luck. Protocol, not personality. Say this out loud. I practice and I teach, therefore I will be called great. Again, consider how these texts harmonize into one verdict. Daniel shows the spirit of excellence and inner lawfulness that produces outer preference. Proverbs reveals the pathway diligence opens the door to kings. Colossians establishes the standard God-facing work that refuses mediocrity because his name is on the invoice. Jesus clarifies the covenant greatness is awarded to those who do and who disciple others to do the same. That's why excellence is not an elective in the kingdom curriculum. It is a commandment with consequences pre-installed. You don't need to manipulate any room. Obey the law and the room will rearrange for you. So here is your assignment. Please write it down. For the next 7 days, align one task each day to Colossians 3:23. Label it as unto the Lord. Deliver it early, deliver it clean, deliver it complete. Then, like Daniel, fix 3 immovable windows in your calendar prayer. Study of your craft and review. Add the Proverbs clause, be diligent, no rolling deadlines, no casual corners. And finally, obey Jesus. Teach one person what you practice. Why? Because practice without teaching limits influence. Teaching without practice creates hypocrisy. Practice and teach releases greatness by law. Lift your right hand and declare, I submit my standard to Scripture. I work as unto the Lord. I practice and I teach. Diligence is my law. Kings are my audience. One more time so your excuses file a resignation letter. The Bible you carry is not a charm. It is a charter. Keep its laws of excellence, and influence will not be an accident. It will be the expected outcome of enforcement. Let's tighten the case with a verse you know but maybe haven't prosecuted. Joshua 1-8, please write this down and underline the verbs. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. Did you hear the courtroom language? Meditate schedule, observe to do obedience. Then you will make your way prosperous agency. Good success, predictable outcome. What did I say? Say it back to me. Now, reverse the verse, because Scripture invites you to see the other side of the law. Write this down. Neglect the word daily. Ignore to do, and you will make your way troubled and have poor success. In other words, neglect is also a law with consequences pre-installed. You don't need a demon to fail. You only need a diary with no discipline. Tweet this. Prosperity doesn't come by prayer. It comes by practicing laws. Prayer sustains the practitioner. Say it out loud. Prayer fuels enforcement. It does not replace it. Translate Joshua's protocol straight into your lane of excellence. Replace book of the law with standard of my purpose. Meditate on your standard day and night. Review it in the morning before the noise and in the evening before the numbness. Why? So that you may observe to do. Convert standard into steps, checklists, rehearsals, iterations. Then here comes the legal promise. You will make your way excellent. Not by vibes, but by verifiable compliance. Excellence becomes predictable where standards are meditated and obeyed daily. Reverse it and you will see your way deteriorate the same way. Skip the morning review. Skip the evening audit. Ignore the checklist and you will make your way mediocre. Success and failure are predictable because enforcement and neglect are predictable. Let me paint this with a story your Monday can use. A young designer in our church, let's call her Leah, made a law with herself. Every morning, 20 minutes studying typography. Every afternoon, 90 minutes of layout reps. Every evening, a 10-minute audit against her checklist. Day and night observed to do. She prayed, yes, but her prayer was, Lord, strengthen my hands to keep the protocol. 6 months later, a regional firm found her portfolio, no networking magic, just visible excellence, and she moved from freelancing for friends to retaining kings. Now her cousin, Tom, great talent, louder prayers, he felt led most days and got inspired some nights. No schedule, no audit. He posted memes about haters, blamed algorithms, and waited for a break. Same God, different enforcement, predictable outcomes. What did I say? Say it back to me. Joshua 1:8 also tells you who is responsible. You shall make your way prosperous. Not your uncle, not your supervisor, not your pastor, your enforcement. God gives the law, you govern the schedule. God never brushed Israel's teeth. He gave them a law and a land and said, observe to do. Galatians 6-7 echoes the same courtroom principle. Whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap. Sow day and night meditation. Reap day and night momentum. Sow observation to do. Reap operation with results. Reverse it and reap weeds, no mystery. Write this next line and stick it on your fridge. Day and night is not poetry, it is policy. Day and night is not romance, it is regimen. The pilot does not arrive at the destination by wishing. He flies the plan, checks the instruments, corrects drift, and repeats day and night in cycle. You are the pilot of your assignment. Your instrument panel is your standard. Your flight plan is your protocol. Ignore the panel and clouds of emotion will carry you off course. Obey the panel and storms cannot stop you. They only slow you while the law still guides you home. So here is your micro mandate for the next 24 hours. Write it down now. Choose one standard in your purpose. Morning, meditate it for 10 minutes. Read it, speak it, visualize the steps. Midday, observe to do one concrete action from that standard. Evening, audit, did I comply? Where did I drift? Adjust tomorrow's plan. Then pray this prayer. Lord, empower my enforcement. That's legal prayer. That's kingdom prayer. That's Joshua 1, 8 inches your calendar. Lift your voice and declare, I will meditate day and night. I will observe to do. I will make my way prosperous. Good success is my legal outcome. Again, louder. So neglect, here's its eviction notice. Because when you reverse the verse, you remove the excuse. Laws make life predictable. Enforcement makes those laws produce. Now that you put Joshua's protocol in your calendar, let's upgrade the engine that drives it. Please write this down. Motivation is emotion dependent. Enforcement is decision dependent. Laws do not ask you how you feel. Gravity doesn't check your mood before it pulls you down. Proverbs 25-28 says, he that has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Rule over your spirit. Hear the legal word. That is enforcement. Not vibes, not goosebumps, governance. Say this out loud. I rule my spirit doesn't rule me. Again, louder. Identity shift time. Write this in capital letters. I am the legislator of my standards. My day is my courtroom. Ecclesiastes 8-4 declares, where the word of a king is, there is power. You are the king over your minutes. In other words, your calendar is not a suggestion box. It is a bench of authority. Your alarm is not a chime. It is a subpoena. Your checklist is not cute stationery. It is statute. And your mood, listen carefully, your mood is a witness, not a judge. It may testify, but it cannot overrule the law. Paul modeled this in 1 Corinthians 9:27. But I discipline my body and bring it into subjection. That is enforcement language. I bring it, not it brings me. Tweet this. Motivation moves when it feels like. Mandate moves even when it doesn't. Now, let me help you on Monday with a 3-line constitution. Write this down and don't misplace it. Replace goals with standards. Replace wishes with schedules. Replace reminders with rituals. Goals are destinations. Standards are the speed limits you will not violate. Wishes are clouds. Schedules are concrete. Reminders are gentle taps. Rituals are bailiffs that drag action into the room, whether you're smiling or not. What did I say? Say it out loud. Replace goals with standards. Replace wishes with schedules. Replace reminders with rituals. Humor me while I pastor you. Some of you are motivated sprinters and undisciplined walkers. Or you take off on Monday like Usain Bolt. New app, new playlist, hot tea, fire emojis. By Wednesday, you're hiding under your desk, eating excuses. Excellence is not the sprint. Excellence is the daily walk. Amos 3:3 asks, can two walk together except they be agreed? Agree with your standard, then walk with it daily. In other words, stop promising marathons with a sprinting spirit and a strolling schedule. Let's make the courtroom vivid. Each morning, you open court. You stand, you read your statute, your standard for the day aloud. James 1:25 calls it the perfect law of liberty and says, he that looks into it and continues therein, this man shall be blessed in his deed. Continue therein, that's daily. Midday is cross-examination. You interrogate your performance with questions, not excuses. Evening is the verdict. Did I comply? If yes, record the precedent. If no, sentence the drift. Tomorrow's plan gets stricter, not softer. 1 Corinthians 14:40 orders the atmosphere. Let all things be done decently and in order. Not some things, all things. Tweet this. If it isn't scheduled, it isn't mandated. If it isn't mandated, it won't be enforced. If it isn't enforced, it won't exist. Let me show you two believers, same church, same God, different courts. Marcus lives by motivation. He said, this week I'm going to read more, pray more, and crush my sales. Those are wishes with lipstick, no schedule, no ritual, no statute. By Friday, he's testifying about warfare on Instagram. It was not the devil, it was disorder. Ava, on the other hand, lives by mandate. She writes a standard for her role. 3 prospecting blocks at 9, 1, 4. Each block is 40 minutes, phone only, script open, no email. She opens court with Luke 9:23. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Daily. She denies the snooze rule, keeps the love rising. 6 months later, kings call Ava. Why? Enforcement made excellence visible. What did I say? Say it back to me. Now, get this into your marrow. What enforces excellence? Standards scheduled into rituals. Say it again, one more time until your calendar feels the gavel. This is why some of you have notebooks full of goals and lives empty of results. Goals without standards create disappointment. Standards without schedules create delay. Schedules without rituals create disobedience. Put them together and you get a mandate that moves you when motivation won't. Let me press this home lovingly but firmly. Stop waiting for a new feeling. Install a new law. If mornings are chaotic, that's not a demon. That's a court with no bailiff. Your bailiff is a ritual. Phone in the kitchen, alarm across the room, shoes by the bed, scripture by the kettle, first 90 minutes, defended like a crown jewel. If social media hijacks your afternoons, subpoena it, time block windows, app limits, accountability. If your creativity is inconsistent, ritualize reps. Same desk, same hour, same warm-up, same timer, every day. Daniel opened his windows 3 times a day, not because it felt exciting, but because that was his statute. Motivation visits, rituals live there. Here's your mandate for the week. Write it down now. Craft 1 sentence that defines your standard for the next 7 days. Translate it into 3 daily rituals with start times. Put them on your calendar as non-negotiable hearings. Post 1 verse as your court seal mine. This week is Colossians 3:23. Whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord, then enforce. No debate with moods. No negotiation with excuses. If you stumble, don't resign, resume. Reverse the verse on your day. If I do not open court, drift will pass judgment on me. But if I open court, law will pass judgment for me. Lift your voice and decree, I am the legislator of my standards. My day is my courtroom. I replace goals with standards, wishes with schedules, reminders with rituals. I enforce excellence regardless of mood. Again, louder. So laziness files for early retirement. Because excellence begins not when you feel inspired, but when you treat your standards like laws and your calendar like a courtroom. Enforce the mandate and the verdict will be influenced. Now that the gavel is dropped in your calendar, let me hand you the statute book for your day. Write this down and circle it 3 times. Enforcement is a protocol, not a personality. Protocol means steps you repeat until results become inevitable. I call it the ENFORCE. Protocol, 7 daily laws that make excellence unavoidable regardless of moods. E, establish explicit non-negotiables. Please write this down. Define in writing the top 3 standards for your assignment and post them where you work. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. If it's not written, it won't be run. Proverbs 29:18 adds, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. No written standard, no restraint, moods take over the bench. Your 3 non-negotiables might read like this. Deliverables are error-free and early. Communication is clear, concise, and confirmed. Daily craft practice is logged for 60 minutes. Put them on your wall, your lock screen, your notebook. Why? Because posted law polices behavior. Tweet this. What is not posted will be postponed. What did I say? Say it back to me. Nail your purpose and narrow your scope. Success is focused obedience. Romans 12:6 says, having gifts that differ, let us use them. Different gifts require narrow lanes. Nehemiah 6:3 is your sword against distraction. I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Write this down. Say no to everything that dilutes your lane. Meetings that steal your prime hours, decline or move them. Side projects that impress friends but betray purpose, exit them. Good opportunities that are illegal for your assignment, refuse them. In other words, cut the branches so the tree can bear fruit. The longer way to success is the shortcut of every shiny thing. Fixed times, first fruits focus. Schedule your highest standard work in your highest energy hours. Feelings don't vote. Matthew 6:33 command sequence, seek first the kingdom, first matters. Proverbs 3-9 models the law of first fruits, honor with the first, and the rest is blessed. That includes time. Allocate your strongest window, maybe 6 to 9 a.m. to your most consequential task. Phone out of reach, notifications off, checklist open, timer on. This is not romance, it's regimen. Tweet this. When you give excellence your leftovers, it leaves you. Fixed times turn your best energy into your best output. What did I say? Fixed times, first fruits, focus. Operationalize feedback. Write this down. Daily score 1-5 against your standards and adjust inputs before complaining about outcomes. Proverbs 27:23 says, be diligent to know the state of your flocks. Know your numbers. End each focus block by grading your compliance. 1 equals no compliance. 3 equals partial. 5 equals full verifiable compliance. If the score drops, don't post a pity meme, adjust inputs. Sleep fewer than 6 hours, that's an input. Desk cluttered, input. Scope too wide, input. Luke 14:28 asks, which of you intending to build a tower sits not down first and counts the cost? Count the cost, count the reps, count the results. When you operationalize feedback, correction arrives before crisis. Or remove rules that resist the law. There's a difference between a law and a rule. Laws are divine and natural principles. Rules are man-made traditions that often protect mediocrity. Jesus rebuked this in Matthew 15:3. Why do you transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? Write this down. Break any rule that blocks the law of excellence. If your office has a reply all within 5 minutes rule that shatters concentration, change it batch responses at 11:30 and 4:30. If your culture idolizes back-to-back meetings that produce no decisions, institute a no meeting mornings rule for focused work. Acts 5:29 gives the posture we ought to obey God rather than men. Obey the law of excellence. Edit the rules of convenience. You don't break laws. Laws break you. So keep the law and break the rules that break you. See, covenant community and coach. Accountability is the sheriff of your standards. 2 are better than 1. Ecclesiastes 4:9 tells us, and Hebrews 10:24-25 commands us to consider how to spur one another on toward love and good works. Write this down. Report and review daily. Find a covenant partner or coach and agree on enforcement checks. Every evening by 7:30 p.m., send your 1-5 scores, a 6-0 second voice note on what worked, and tomorrow's first enforcement move. Your coach does not want alibis, they want evidence. Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron. Dull iron loves privacy. Sharp iron loves friction. Tweet this. Secrecy protects mediocrity. Accountability prosecutes it. Examine and execute. End of day audit, plan tomorrow. Close loops before sleep. Lamentations 3:40 says, let us examine and probe our ways and let us return to the Lord. Psalm 90:12 adds, teach us to number our days. that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Numbering your day is not counting hours. It's making hours count. Here's the ritual. 1, review today's standards and scores. 2, extract one lesson, what input needs changing. Write tomorrow's first enforcement. Move on a sticky note placed on your keyboard. Stage your tools, clothes ready, desk cleared, document open, alarm across the room. Pray short but sharp. Lord, establish the work of my hands, Psalm 90-17. Then sleep as an act of faith, not avoidance. The 1 Corinthians 14:40, let all things be done decently and in order. Don't carry today's disobedience into tomorrow's courtroom. Close the case. Let me string the beads so you see the necklace. Establish non-negotiables, law on paper, nail purpose, law of lane, fixed times, law of first fruits. Operationalize feedback, law of measurement, remove rules, law over tradition, covenant community, law with a sheriff. Examine and execute law that closes the loop. That is ENFORCE. Say it out loud. Enforcement is a protocol, not a personality. Again, louder. Tweet it and tag your future. Now watch the predictability emerge. Do this for 7 days and you'll feel momentum. Do it for 30 and you'll see measurable lift. Do it for 90 and kings will start appearing on your calendar. Not magic law. Joshua 1-8 is still true. Colossians 3:23 is still binding. Proverbs 22:29 is still active. Not you practice, you teach, you stand before kings. What did I say? Success is predictable because enforcement is repeatable. Lift your right hand and decree with me. I establish non-negotiables. I narrow my scope. I give God my first and my best. I measure and adjust. I break rules to keep the law. I walk with a sheriff. I examine and I execute. I enforce. One more time. So apathy files a restraining order against itself. Excellence becomes inevitable when you run the protocol daily, regardless of mood, regardless of weather, regardless of whispers. Court adjourned for tonight. Protocol resumes in the morning. Court is in session again, and now we bring our star witness to the stand practice. Please write this down. Practice is not preparation. Practice is prosecution. It prosecutes your laziness. It cross-examines your excuses, and it renders a verdict called mastery. Paul saw the same courtroom when he wrote in 1 Corinthians 9:24-27, do you not know that those who run in a race all run, but one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain. And every man that strives for mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beats the air, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection. Do you hear the law? Temperate in all things, limits by statute, keep under my body, enforcement by will. Not as shadow boxing, measurable targets, not random swings. Tweet this, mastery is the legal consequence of disciplined repetition under a standard. Let's bring some exhibits. LeBron James does not dominate by posters. He dominates by protocols, thousands of footwork reps, film sessions at unsociable hours, diet as law, sleep as statute. Serena Williams won matches on courts we never saw. The court called 5 a.m. The court called serves repeated until the shoulder cries mercy. The court called footwork ladders until calves testify. Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, built an empire of skill at 4 a.m. when your alarm was negotiating with your feelings. He called it the Mamba mentality. I call it the law of repetition. Write this down. Champions are not talented people. They are law keepers of practice. What did I say? Say it out loud. Again, louder. So your moods feel the handcuffs. Reps are rulings in the court. Every repetition is a gavel strike. You shoot the free throw gavel. You run the drill gavel. You rehearse the script gavel. After 10,000 gavels, the verdict is read. This person is no longer experimenting. This person is excellent. In other words, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent what the law of your standard demands. And if your standard is sloppy, your reps will cement sloppiness. So set the standard high, then let repetition enforce it until your muscles and mind obey without debate. Let me give you a picture you can plant in your kitchen. Your gift is a seed. Your environment is the soil. Your repetition is the rain. No rain, no harvest, no headlines. You can prophesy over the soil. You can shout at the sky. But if the clouds never open by the law of repetition, the seed remains a wish under dirt. James 5 says Elijah prayed and the heavens gave rain. But even prayer had a protocol. He bowed 7 times, 7 reps. He kept sending the servant back repetition until a cloud appeared like a man's hand. Read this. Rain is repetition. Clouds gather when you repeat. What did I say? Say it back to me. Someone says, Pastor, I'm gifted, wonderful, but gifted without govern is ghosted by greatness. I had a young drummer, let's call him Micah. On Sundays, he was enthusiastic. On Mondays, he was missing. We wrote a statute, 60 minutes of rudiments, 6 days a week with a metronome, logged the tempos, raised 5 beats per minute each Friday. He groaned, but he signed the law. 90 days later, the church didn't just hear better feels. They felt authority. A producer visited on a random Wednesday and asked for his number. He didn't meet a star. He met a schedule. Contrast his cousin talented, louder Instagram. No ritual. He practiced when inspired and wondered why doors stayed shut. Doors don't open because you knock once. Doors open when knocking becomes a ritual. Luke 11 says, because of his importunity, persistence he received. Reps, not vibes. Back to Paul. Every man that strives for mastery is temperate in all things. Temperate means controlled portions and protected priorities. Athletes obey dietary laws because food either fuels reps or fights them. They obey sleep laws because fatigue is contempt of court against focus. They obey social laws, saying no to good things for the sake of great standards, because distraction is a thief with a choir robe. Some of the laziest people in the world are Christians. We speak in tongues, but we won't count reps. Oh dear, am I talking to myself? Count your reps, log your drills, set your rituals. You don't break laws, laws break you. Violate the sleep law and the focus law will break you. Ignore the repetition law and the mastery law will break you. Let me show you how to make practice your sheriff. Write this down. Define the drill. Define the number. Define the time. Define the record. Define the increase. That's law. Example, public speaking. Drill 5-minute talk on one idea. Number, rehearse it 6 times. Time, 6:30 a.m., Monday to Friday. Record, voice memo, saved and labeled by date. Increase. Add 1 persuasive device each week. Story, statistic, scripture. Do this for 12 weeks and even your critics will take notes. What wins? Reps enforced by ritual. Say it with me. Again. One more time. Until your snooze button calls its lawyer. And please stop shadow boxing. Paul said, I do not beat the air. That means don't do random reps, do regulated reps against a standard. Serena doesn't swing aimlessly, she serves to targets. Kobe didn't just chuck shots. He drilled from the elbow, the corner, the post, then reconstructed the same movement with defenders, with fatigue, with a countdown. Excellence is not the amount of sweat, it's the alignment of sweat to standard. In other words, sweat smart by statute. Scripture seals this. Proverbs 22:29, write it again, even if it's on your wall already. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Diligent doesn't mean busy. It means predictable reps under a standard. Joshua 1:8 promised success to the one who meditates day and night and observes to do. That's rehearsal language. That's practice as law. That's why LeBron watches film at midnight, observe to do. That's why Daniel prayed 3 times a day, observe to do. That's why David said, 7 times a day I praise you, observe to do. Repetition sanctifies skill and crowns it with influence. So here is your assignment, your law for the next 7 days. Choose one skill that is central to your purpose. Write a micro drill that can be done in 15 minutes. Fix a time, fix a number. Log each rep. On day 4, raise the standard by 10%. Report your compliance to your sheriff, your accountability partner, by 7:30 p.m. daily. Then pray like Paul, not for feelings, but for enforcement. Lord, I keep under my body, strengthen my hands to keep the law of practice. Lift your voice and declare, I am temperate in all things. I keep my body under. My reps are rulings. Practice is my law. Mastery is my verdict. Again, louder. What wins? Reps enforced by ritual. Court will reconvene tomorrow at your fixed time. Show up, strike the gavel, and let the Lord practice deliver your crown. Now, let me commit a holy crime against your comfort. Successful people break the rules to keep the law. Write that down. Laws are divine and natural principles built into creation. Rules are human traditions built into convenience. Jesus modeled this without apology. In Mark 2:27, he said, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Then in Matthew 12:12, he declared, it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. What did he do? He healed on the Sabbath. He broke the rule of tradition to uphold the law of love and wholeness. Say this out loud. When rules conflict with excellence, I break the rules and keep the law. Again, louder. Listen carefully. The rule said, do nothing today. The law said, do good today. The rule protected appearances. The law protected purpose. There was a withered hand in that synagogue. Tradition said, wait until tomorrow. Law said, wholeness cannot wait. Jesus chose law over rule, and the man's hand straightened. And by the way, so did the thinking of everyone who had ears to hear. Tweet this. Anyone who wants to be successful must break the rules for the sake of the law. Post it, hashtag it, and then practice it. Now bring this home to your office. There's a man-made rule called inbox first culture. The moment you wake up, the rule says, prove you're responsive, refresh, reply all, react. That rule slaughters your prime hours on the altar of other people's priorities. But the law of excellence says, first fruits, focus. Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom. First matters. So break the inbox rule to keep the focus law. For 2 hours every morning, go dark. Do not disturb on. Calendar blocked. Phone in exile. Work your highest value standard while your brain is fresh. Then batch your emails at 11:30 and 4:30. What did I say? Break the rule to keep the law. Another rule, meeting addiction. Your culture worships gatherings with no decisions, no documents, no deadlines. The law of excellence, however, says decency and order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let your yes be yes. James 5:12. And be diligent to know the state of your flocks. Proverbs 27-23. So break the rule. Institute no meeting mornings. Make every meeting illegal unless it has a written purpose, a time-capped agenda, assign owners and outcomes. If the organizer can't write it, you shouldn't attend it. That's not rebellion. That's obedience to the law of productivity. Some of you are too polite to be excellent. Oh dear, am I talking to myself? Say it with me. I honor laws, not laziness in a suit. Daniel did this long before corporate life invented Slack. A royal rule said no prayer for 30 days. Daniel 6:10 says he opened his windows and prayed 3 times a day as he did before. He broke the rule to keep the law of devotion. Acts 5:29, put steel in your spine. We ought to obey God rather than men. I am not telling you to be lawless. I am telling you to be lawful. Obey the higher law, even if you must edit or end a lower rule. Let me provoke you with a marketplace parable. A young analyst, let's call her Zoe, worked in a firm where the rule said, be visible in chat at 8 a.m. Answer within 5 minutes. Attend all stand-ups, smile in all Zooms. Zoe honored her leader, but she kept the law of excellence. She asked for one experiment, give me 8 to 10 off chat. I will deliver 2 completed analyses by noon instead of partials all day. They said no, so she negotiated quietly with results. She went dark for 2 weeks in those hours, delivered finished work early, error-free, with a memo summarizing decisions enabled and hours saved. The manager called her in. You're breaking our responsiveness rule. Zoe slid the data across the table, quality up 40%, rework down 60%, client satisfaction up 2 points. The manager changed the rule for the whole team. Why? Success prosecutes silly rules. Excellence rewrites policy. What did I say? When rules conflict with excellence, break the rules and keep the law. Let me bring Apple into church for a minute. There was a time when the device rule said you must have a physical keyboard, a maze of buttons, a plastic stylus, and carriers dictating the experience. Steve Jobs broke those rules to keep higher design laws, simplicity, focus, integration, delight. He removed the keyboard, reduced buttons to 1, said who wants a stylus, and married hardware to software so the experience obeyed the law of elegance. The market said you can't. The law said you must. Results bowed. Ecclesiastes 8:4. Where the word of a king is, there is power. Excellence separates you from normal men. People looked at that phone and said, what manner of man is this? You just separated yourself from the pack by keeping the law. Write this down. The longest way to success is the shortcut. The shortest way is the law. Shortcuts are rule-driven. How can I look busy without being excellent? Laws are principle-driven. How can I be excellent even if I look different? Romans 12:2 says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Conformity is often a stack of rules. Transformation is the courage to keep the law when it costs you applause. Let's make this practical so you don't just shout and go home to the same cage. Step 1. Identify one rule in your world that violates a law of excellence. Maybe answer every ping instantly. Say yes to every meeting or multitask to prove you care. Step 2. Name the law. It violates focus, sequence, depth, work, quality. Step 3. Design a lawful alternative. Time blocks, written agendas, office hours, batch communication, deliverables before discussion. Step 4, communicate respectfully and briefly to increase quality and speed. I'm adopting X from A10. Here's the metric I will hit daily. Step 5, enforce your alternative and produce evidence. Step 6, present outcomes. Let results argue for policy change. If they refuse, keep the law and choose a lane where law is welcome. You don't break laws, laws break you. If you bend to bad rules, the law of mediocrity will break you publicly later. Ecclesiastes 10:10 reminds us, if the iron be blunt and he do not whet the edge, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct. Wisdom directs you to sharpen your day by law, not to swing harder under rules that dull your edge. Sharpen first, swing second. Law first, rule last. Lift your voice and decree, I obey divine and natural laws. I break man-made rules that block excellence. I am lawful, not lawless. I choose focus over frenzy, depth over drama, results over rituals or busyness. Tweet this right now. Anyone who wants to be successful must break the rules for the sake of the law. And remember, the longest way to success is the shortcut. The shortest way is the law. Keep the law of excellence and watch rules rewrite themselves around your results. Courtroom language continues, but now we bring in the scales and the sentencing. Write this down. Excellence is not emotional. Excellence is evidential. Ecclesiastes 10:10 declares, if the iron be blunt and he do not whet the edge, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct. Translation, stop swinging harder, sharpen smarter. Wisdom is the sharpening stone. Measurement is the sharpening motion. Tweet this. Sweat without sharpening is stubbornness. What did I say? Say it out loud. Let me place a ledger in your hands because feelings make terrible bookkeepers. I want you to build an excellence ledger tonight, not tomorrow, tonight. Across the left side, write the 7 letters we already put on trial. E-N-F-O-R-C-E. Down the page. E, establish non-negotiables. N, nail your purpose. F, fix times. O, operationalize feedback. R, remove rules. C, covenant community and coach. E, examine and execute across the top. Write the days of the week. Now, assign yourself a daily score from 1 to 5 for each letter. Define it clearly. 1 equals no compliance, no proof. 2 equals minimal, unverified attempt. 3 equals partial, some evidence. 4 equals full compliance, documented. 5 equals exceeded the standard and taught it to someone else. Evidence means proof, screenshots of your calendar block, a shipped deliverable, a voice note to your sheriff, a checklist with timestamps. Hearsay is not evidence in this court. At the end of each day, total your 7 numbers and write your daily enforcement score. On Sunday evening, calculate the weekly average for each letter and your overall average. Then draw a simple arrow beside each, up, flat, or down. That arrow is your trend line. Why? Because excellence is not a day, excellence is a direction. If your arrow is down, the law is warning you. If it's flat, complacency is negotiating. If it's up, keep paying the price. Visibility creates velocity. Put the ledger where your eyes cannot ignore it, on your desk, your mirror, your lock screen. What you hide, you will not heal. Proverbs 27-23 told you to be diligent to know the state of your flocks. Your standards are your flock. Count them. Write this down and don't blink. What you do not measure, you cannot manage. What you do not manage breaks you. You don't break laws, laws break you. If you don't measure sleep, the focus law will break you. If you don't measure reps, the mastery law will break you. If you don't measure first fruits focus, the distraction law will break you. Say this out loud. No metrics, no mastery. Again, no metrics, no mastery. Tweet that to somebody. Hashtag sharpen the axe. Now we tighten the belt. Consequences and rewards. Intentions without consequences are entertainment. The kingdom runs on laws with judgments built in. Gravity doesn't need a committee. It has consequences. So does your enforcement. Pre-commit your sentences in writing before feelings plead their case. Daily consequence. If any day's overall score drops below 24 out of 3.5, that's an average below 3.5. If you pay a fine, $25, transfer it that night to your accountability partner or to a cause you support but don't emotionally enjoy funding. Why? Pain teaches faster than platitudes. Another daily sentence. Miss your fixed time block. You forfeit all non-essential entertainment for 24 hours. No mindless scroll, no series. Weekly consequence. If your weekly average drops below 4, you schedule a 2-hour Saturday shopping session. No negotiations dedicated to the lowest scoring letter. That's wisdom directing the blade. Rewards? Yes, but lawful rewards, not sugary sedations. If your weekly average is 4.5 or higher for 2 consecutive weeks, invest in a sharper axe. That means buy the tool that multiplies your speed, software, a course, a coaching session, a better chair, a cleaner light, a book that deepens your lane. Ecclesiastes 10:10 didn't say swing a bigger stick. It said whet the edge. Reward by sharpening. Also schedule a righteous recovery that fuels future enforcement, an early bedtime upgrade, a nature walk, a deep stretch, a prayer retreat. Rewards must strengthen the standard, not sedate your senses. Donuts are not discipleship. Let me give you a picture. A designer named Caleb built his ledger. He scored his F fixed times at 2 for 3 days straight. Trend line down. The law said sharpen. He moved his phone to the kitchen at night, staged his tools at dusk, and set a $20 fine for snoozing. In 1 week, F moved to 4. His turnaround time dropped 38%. Rework fell by half. Clients noticed. What changed? Not talent. Measurement exposed a dull edge. Preset consequence forced a whetstone. Performance followed. Another sister, Amara, had a flat R. Remove rules. Her culture loved random meetings. She set a weekly consequence. Any day her R fell below 4, she had to draft and send a 1-paragraph lawful alternative to a meeting organizer with a proposed written decision path. Painful at first, then powerful by week 3. No meeting mornings became policy. Excellence rewrites rules when evidence prosecutes tradition. Some of you are praying for kings while hiding your ledger. Proverbs 22:29 did not say, seest thou a man hyped about his business. It says diligent. Diligence is documented obedience. If a king asks for your evidence today, could you show a trend line or just a testimony? Faith without works is dead. Vision without metrics is delusion. Write this down. Measurement turns moods into math. Math prosecutes alibis. What did I say? No metrics, no mastery. Here is the ritual, simple and non-negotiable. Each evening, examine and execute. Pull out the ledger. Score each ENFORCE, letter 1-5 with proof. Write one sentence on the sharpest lesson. Tomorrow, I will increase my F by staging tools at 9:30 p.m. Pay your fine if you missed. Send the ledger photo to your sheriff by 7:30 p.m. Every Sunday at 5 p.m. Conduct a weekly sentencing hearing. Review your trend lines. Choose the one dullest edge and schedule a sharpening block for it. Pre-approve next week's consequence and next week's reward. Sign it, date it, pray, Psalm 90-17, establish the work of our hands and then obey the establishment with your calendar. Lift your voice and decree, I sharpen before I swing. I measure, therefore I manage. I pre-commit my consequences. I invest in sharper tools. My ledger is my law. My scores are my sentences. My rewards are my whetstone. Say it again. No metrics, no mastery. One more time. So your habits, hear the gavel, no metrics, no mastery. When the axe is sharp, little strength produces great results. When your standards are measured, small adjustments produce royal invitations. Keep the ledger, keep the law, and watch your influence become inevitable. Kings don't invite guesses, they invite guarantees. Your scorecard is your guarantee. If kings don't invite guesses, but guarantees, then hear me. When your life becomes a guarantee, you become the standard. Write this down. Purpose is the measure of your excellence. Success is not what you've done compared to them. Success is what you've done compared to what you were born to do. What did I say? Say it out loud. Jeremiah 29-11 reminds you, I know the plans I have for you, which means God is not grading you on my plans or their plans, but on his plan for you. In other words, your scoreboard is your assignment, not your neighbor's applause. So stop peeking at their lane, sharpen your axe for yours. Influence follows this alignment like a shadow at noon. Define influence properly. Influence is when other people change their priorities for yours. Tweet that. They rearrange calendars, redirect budgets, and reassign attention because your excellence solves their pain predictably. Daniel didn't become influential because he was cute in Babylon. He became standard because an excellent spirit was in him, and he interpreted problems before breakfast. Joseph didn't trend because of dreams alone. He governed grain by law, and Pharaoh shifted the nation's priorities to Joseph's protocol. Write this down. Excellence makes you necessary. Necessity gives you authority. Let me give you a living parable from our own congregation. A quiet brother named Raphael worked nights as a school custodian. No stage, no microphone, no title. He built a private law, arrive at 4:45 a.m., inspect 92 points with a checklist, photograph proof, fix 3 defects before 6, email the principal a ready report by 6:15 with 2 preventive recommendations. No one asked him, he legislated it. By month 2, tardy lines dropped, incidents fell, and parents started complimenting how safe the school felt. The principal changed the opening procedure to Raphael's standard, gave him authority to approve vendor work, and shifted budgets to his recommendations. What happened? Celebrate turned into celebrity. Visible excellence created a platform, and stewardship kept it. Be careful. Applause is not a promotion if you can't steward it. Celebrity without stewardship is a falling star. Celebrate celebrity stewardship standard. That's the progression. Tweet this. I don't chase platforms, I build standards. Platforms chase me. Now, all of this is impossible to the prayerless and useless to the prayer only. Write this down. Prayer does not replace the law. Prayer empowers you to keep it daily. Joshua 1-8 is a rhythm, not a ringtone. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do. Then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Meditate mindset, observe method, do movement, then manifestation. Reverse the verse and you'll see predictability, but keep the verse and you'll see inevitability. Colossians 3:23 as the fuel. Whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. That means the courtroom of excellence is worship. Your ledger is an altar. Your 6 a.m. block is incense. Nehemiah 4:9 gives you the perfect duet. We prayed to our God and set a watch. We prayed and we posted a schedule. Prayer is oxygen for obedience. Without enforcement, you're just a well-breed drifter. Some of the laziest people in the world are prayer warriors who won't keep a calendar. Oh dear, am I talking to myself? Don't shout me down, write this down instead. I pray for strength to enforce, not for exemptions from law. Say it out loud. Again, if you pray and refuse protocol, you tempt God to subsidize your negligence. He won't. The judgments are built into the laws. You don't break laws, laws break you. But when you align prayer with practice, grace becomes momentum. Heaven supplies power. Your schedule supplies pathways. Here is your commission, our 30-day enforcement challenge. Court is in session for a month. For 30 consecutive days, run ENFORCE daily. Establish non-negotiables. Nail your purpose. Fix times. Operationalize feedback. Remove rules that resist excellence. Covenant, community, and coach. Examine and execute. Every day score the 7 letters, 1-5 with evidence. Do not sleep without the ledger. Each Sunday at 5 p.m. Post your weekly ledger summary to your sheriff. If you have no sheriff, get saved from yourself and appoint one before midnight. And this is important. Week 4, teach one person the protocol. Don't hoard the law. Export it. Leaders multiply standards. What did I say? If you can't teach it, you haven't tamed it. Tweet that to somebody who thinks influence is a filter. Expect this. By day 10, you'll feel resistance screaming. Feelings will plead for a recess. Deny it. By day 14, results will whisper, don't get cute, enforce harder. By day 21, you'll sense identity shifting from hopeful to lawful. By day 30, people around you will start moving their priorities around your consistency. That's influence. That's kings calling for guarantees. Proverbs 22:29 will no longer be a fridge magnet. It will be your calendar. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. And please remember the measure. Your brother might have a microphone. You might have a microscope. God won't grade you on songs. If he designed you for sales, purpose is the measure. I used to tell my students, if God gave you capacity for 100 and you deliver 48, you failed no matter how many clapped. If he gave you 50 and you deliver 50, heaven stands. Influence is not being everywhere. Influence is being irreplaceable where you were sent. What manner of man are you when your presence means problems go on trial and excuses go to jail? You just separated yourself from normal men. That's standard. Now lift your voice. We're going to legislate identity. Say this out loud. I was not born to be compared. I was born to be completed. Again, I obey divine and natural laws. I reject traditions that suffocate excellence. Again, I pray for power and I schedule obedience. Again, I am promoted by problems I solve, not positions I seek. Again, now the final decree, answer me. What are you now? I am the legislator of my standards, and I enforce them daily. Again, what are you now? I am the legislator of my standards, and I enforce them daily. One more time, so your tomorrow hears you. I am the legislator of my standards, and I enforce them daily. Go from this room and make your way prosperous by practice. Make your influence inevitable by law, and make your life a guarantee kings can trust. Keep the law of excellence in your purpose. Become the standard and inherit influence. Court adjourn until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Show up, strike the gavel, pray, then perform.